We will call our meeting to order. And if you could kindly join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Hey, Mrs. Sugars, could you please call the roll?
Mrs. Stratton.
Here.
Mrs. Fleischer.
Here.
Mrs. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Greenbaum.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Here.
Dr. Rude.
Here.
Mrs. Tong.
Here.
Mrs. Winters.
Here.
Ms. Stern.
Here. Okay, we have no board recognition tonight. We have no presentations tonight. Meeting, no, just kidding. We have almost, right? We do have a very quick administrative report, Dr. Morton, that you would like to give.
Absolutely. I have a couple items actually. So we are just 7 days away from August 1st.
Wow.
From August 1st. This summer is progressing at a rapid pace. And with that, obviously, September 1st is literally right around the corner. So things are moving forward well. Obviously, there is much construction and much taking place to renew and refresh our buildings. Maintenance custodial staff are working hard to accomplish that. I'm always excited every year about the new year. With the new year, there's new possibilities, new opportunities. It's like an opportunity for a fresh start or redo for us in some respects. But definitely excited about moving forward, but we don't want the summer to move too fast, all right? We want just to slow down just a little bit. Just, a reminder, as we move forward throughout the course of the summer, we do take time to look at sectioning, and we look at the availability of teaching positions, and we look at enrollment and things along those lines, and things get adjusted as we hire new staff and as more children register within the district as well. We have had some concerned families come out over the last couple board meetings to share concerns about or share their desire for additional classes to offset some class size issues and things along those lines. As we've gone through the process of looking at enrollment, sometimes things work out well and work out within our favor. We were able to add sections to both of those schools where there were concerns that were cited to the board during the last two meetings. So it's a positive thing. We're not always able to do that, but at times things balance and they work within our favor. So we definitely ask for your patience as we move throughout the course of the summer. We appreciate all of the input. We appreciate the concern that our families do share. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Dr. Morton. So do we have any board member correspondence? No one attended any school events this week, didn't do a drive-by on the construction. And I've been doing drive-bys. Constructions are pretty impressive. Lots of great projects going on. Okay, so. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Tong, any events and correspondence?
Shall I repeat again? Okay. Well, I went by the east almost every day and I see the cranes going up, people's working and putting new things on the roof. So I think it's getting soon will be done. I hope when I come back.
Yeah, definitely a lot of great work going on in the district. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Winters.
I just want to give a shout out to the Cherry Hill Public Library, who reached out to us to collaborate on summer reading and book access through the library. So I asked board members to come join me in doing kind of a little silly photo shoot over there to promote the summer reading books. And it was just a really nice collaboration between the public school system and the public library. The youth librarians are so supportive of us and the work we do and of our students. So if there are any students out there who need books, they're at the library. If you prefer ebooks or audiobooks, librarians at the library can help you access them for free through the Sora app, which you have access through the school district. So I just really want to thank the library. I feel like every time I go in there, they're warm, they're caring. They ask me how it's going. They went and purchased, because we do new books every single summer based on a theme. This summer's theme is Green Reads, which is timely. If you have ever left the house in July, you will know that climate is a huge issue right now. But the library had to go out and purchase all those books because they change every year. And they did that to try to make sure that they had enough copies for kids. So I just thought it was a really neat collaboration, and I look forward to working with them in the future. And thank you to Ms. Elmore Stratton and Dr. Rude, who had a good sense of humor and came with me to the library to do some ridiculous things in the name of good books.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We will move on. We do not have any student representative reports tonight, and we do thank Colin for coming, especially in the summer. We will now move on to first public comment. So there will be 2 opportunities for public comment this evening. The first public comment section is for any board action items only, which are items 12 through 16 on our agenda. There will be another public comment section for any topic related to our school district at the end of this meeting. If you are a student in the district, you may comment on any agenda item during this first public comment period. Please identify yourself as a student. If you are online and you are a student, please put an S next to your name so we know you are a student. If you'd like to speak now, please identify the agenda item and clearly state your name and municipality. We will alternate between speakers here in the room and those who are online. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. The timer on the screen will indicate the amount of time you have remaining. Public comment is an opportunity for members of the community to comment on matters relevant to the operations of Cherry Hill Public School District or within the authority of the Cherry Hill Board of Education. The board welcomes diverse opinions on relevant matters. Under established federal law governing reasonable restrictions on speech in public forums, statements which demean individual community members or groups, or which are irrelevant to the operations of the school district or repetitious, will not be permitted. Community members who would like to present information relevant to the school district and are always welcome to communicate directly to the district superintendent, board president, and all board members via email or other alternative means. And with that, we will always start in the room. If there's anyone who'd like to speak for public comment on board action items, please approach the podium.
Yoni Yaris, Cherry Hill, 12.1. It's very exciting to see that on the agenda. Just want to put out there that for those of you who have not gotten to know Dr. Morton, I encourage you to go to the Cherry Hill Public School YouTube page. Find his graduation speeches year after year. They are one of the best ever done. The stories that he shares with the students from every sort of different background. I mean, when you think of a high school principal and a high school administrator, you don't think of somebody who's got to know students on that interpersonal relationship, but go through and you hear some incredible stories of impact year after year, with the exception of 2021, I want to say, when he switched over to the assistant superintendent's job. We'll give him a pass on that one due to the emotion. That one, I think he gets plus credit for having to go back and do it this past year. So I think that makes up for it. We're getting an incredible person who knows students, knows the staff, knows parents, knows caregivers, is just an accessible person. I personally hope that this state is permanent going forward, that he is one of the best. I'm really lucky that we have him here. And I know it's been a challenge and the county is never really friendly about that. And so I hope as we go forward and tackle that we use this as a learning experience. So when it comes to later this school year, or upcoming school year, if we want to be precise, that we move ahead faster or work ahead to figure out what we need to do or how we need to get them to work and do their jobs and such. So congratulations on making it to this point. I'm really excited that we'll have the next month, August, to let Dr. Morton really get flying. An appreciation to Ms. Wethington for being thrown to the wolves for the last month in doing that. And I'm really glad the previous boards put together a very strong superintendency that we have not had since I was a student, which allowed for us to be able to cover for that, because in years past, we would not have been able to weather a month of having to wait for the county. So thank you.
Okay, we go to the line and it's a phone number ending with 788.
Okay, my name is Jeff Podowitz, and I'm talking about, and I live in Cherry Hill, and I'm talking about 16.2, specifically 16.2, change in wording revisions to 9140 Citizen Advisory Committee. Please vote no in these changes. Please, anyone in the audience, just look it up. What is in bold print is added. What is crossed out is deleted. Note the changes in wording when compared to the present version of 9140 Citizens Advisory Committee. The voice of local community members. Example, in creating a new citizens, bold type citizens advising committee, the board may, bold type, shall, crossed out, appoint members of the community who are able and interested in the subject and concerned about the schools. I found this definition on the internet. In legal documents, shall is a command. Whatever follows after shall is mandatory. It is required that it must be done. On the other hand, may is discretionary. Is discretionary. What comes after may is optional. It is at the discretion of the persons making the decisions. All right. This is just one of a number of pages of a number of significant changes in the wording of this policy. Changes in the wording of this policy, changes that can be used to limit the voice, and I'm putting that word voice in quotes, of local community members. So school board members, please vote no in what may be considered seemingly insignificant changes in the wording, but really, really are significant. Everyone just reread that. Vote no in these changes. There's a big difference between the word shall, and may, and that's just only one of the changes. Really, that doesn't bode well and really decreases community voice. That's members of the public who have nothing to do with who really aren't, employees of the school district or administrators or school board members. Really, really, really does. Anyway, thank you very much, and please vote no. Thank you.
Okay. Not seeing any public comment in the room. So if you're interested in making a public comment on our action item, you definitely can approach the podium and speak on the agenda item. So please state your name, your municipality, and the agenda item you'll be speaking to.
How you guys doing? My name is Harvey Mills, speaking on item 13. I would like to inquire if you guys currently have a
I'm sorry, Mr. Mills, I received your email.
Oh, thank you.
If you wouldn't mind waiting till our second public comment, that's an opportunity to speak on any item.
Mhm.
This is just a comment for action items
Gotcha.
only
All right,
on our agenda.
thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, are there any other, don't see any hands and don't see any other comments. So we will close public comment. And now we will move on to our action agenda. And before we start with 12, which I'm very excited about, I just wanted to thank Mrs. Wethington, who just quietly and supportively and professionally has been our acting administrator in charge, and very appreciative of that. Juggling that and all your other work, not easy. So I just want to thank you so much on behalf of the full board for your dedicated service. And I'm very happy to say that ends tonight. I believe I can confidently say that. So we will move on to approval of appointment. And we will be, I make a motion to approve item 12.1, approval of appointment contract. Do I have a second? Ms. Elmore Stratton, and that's it. Mrs. Sugars, can you open the voting, please?
Board members, you may cast your votes.
Mr. Sugar, I got popped up too. I'll yes for me as well. Thank you.
Okay, we have a unanimous yes vote.
So I'm very pleased to announce that Dr. Kwame Morton is now our official acting superintendent. So Dr. Morton, we are thrilled that the county superintendent completed review of your contract. And although it took a little longer than we all had hoped, it has happened. And you are now officially in the role, and we move on. Let's get to work. Okay. So curriculum instruction, Mrs. Winters, can you please move the CNI agenda?
The superintendent recommends, and I move the following. 13.1, approval of attendance at conference and workshops for the 23-24 school year. 13.2, approval of out-of-district student placement for the 23-24 school year. 13.3, approval of services contract with NJ Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired for the 23-24 school year. 13.4, approval of professional service agreements for the 23-24 school year. 13.5, approval of standard orders and protocols. 13.6, resolution authorizing acceptance of the building capacity for career pathways in comprehensive schools, cohort 2, cycle 2, and 13.7, approval of professional development proposal. Do I have a second? Ms. Fleischer, are there any questions? Seeing no questions, Ms. Sugars, please open the vote.
Okay, board members, you may cast your votes. If you have any abstentions or no votes, please let me know. And we have a unanimous yes vote.
Okay, we move on to business and facilities. Mr. Mayor, can you please move the BNF agenda?
Indeed, the superintendent recommends, and I move the following. Item 14.1, approval of minutes for the June 5, 2023 meeting. 14.2, approval of minutes from June 13th of 2023. 14.3, approval of minutes of June 27th, 2023. 14.4, financial reports. 14.5, resolution for the award of transportation. And 14.6, acceptance of donations. Do I have a second? Dr. Rude, are there any questions? Seeing none, Mrs. Sugars, would you open the voting, please?
Okay, board members, you may cast your votes. If there's any abstentions or no votes, let me know. Mrs. Tong?
I had to say 14.3. Other than that, everything's yes.
Okay, we have a unanimous yes vote.
Mrs. Sugars,
Yes.
sorry, 14.3, you'll abstain from the meeting minutes.
And from same for me, 14.3, I have to abstain from the June 27 minutes.
Okay, other than the items noted, we have a unanimous yes vote.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Elmore Stratton, can you please move the HR agenda?
Absolutely. The superintendent recommends, and I move the following. 15.1, termination of employment certificated. Termination, 15.2, termination of employment non-certificated. 15.3, appointments certificated. 15.4, appointments non-certificated. 15.5, assignment or salary change certificated. 15.6, leave of absence certificated. 15.7, leaves of absence non-certificated, and 15.8, contract renewals certified. And do I have a second? Ms. Winters, and any questions? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Sugar, may you open the vote, please?
The online voting is open. You may cast your votes. If you have any no votes or abstentions, please let me know.
Mrs. Sugars, I
Yes.
need to abstain from 15.3 to avoid a conflict of interest.
Ms. Sugars, I also need to abstain from, I'm sorry, I just lost the one, I apologize. I think it's 15.6. For a conflict of interest.
Okay, other than the exceptions noted, we have a unanimous yes vote.
We move on to policy and legislation. Mrs. Fleischer, can you please move the P&L agenda?
Sure. The superintendent recommends and I move the following: 16.1, first reading of policy 2419, school threat assessment team. 16.2, second reading of policy 9140, citizens advisory committees. 16.3, resolution for approval of remote virtual instruction plan. Do I have a second? Mr. Greenbaum, any questions? Seeing none, can you open up the voting, Mrs. Sugars? Thank you.
Okay, the online voting is open. You may cast your votes. If you have any abstentions or no votes, please let me know. And we have a unanimous yes vote.
Okay, and we move on to strategic planning. There are no items for action this evening under strategic planning. And we will now move on to new business. Is there any new business? Okay, no new business. Is there any old business? No old business. Okay. I mean, I think this is strange. I don't know. It's 7:03 and we even started late. Now what? Keep going, keep going. Okay. On a roll. All right. We move on to second public comment. I mean, I don't really get it, but apparently we're here. So we're gonna do this. Okay, so this is the second public comment section during which time you may comment on any any topic related to our district. So if you would like to speak now, please clearly state your name and municipality. We will alternate between speakers here in the room and those who are online. Each speaker will be given maximum of 3 minutes to speak. The timer on the screen will indicate the amount of time you have remaining. Public comment is an opportunity for members of the community to comment on matters relevant to the operations of Cherry Hill Public School District or within the authority of the Cherry Hill Board of Education. The board welcomes diverse opinions on relevant matters. Under established federal law governing reasonable restrictions on speech in public forums, statements which demean individual community members or groups or which are irrelevant to the operations of the school district or are repetitive will not be permitted. Community members who would like to present information not relevant to the school district are always welcome to communicate directly to the district superintendent, acting Dr. Kwame Morton, acting superintendent, board president, and all board members via email or other alternative means. So if you are a student and you are online, kindly put an S after your name so we know you are a student, and we start in the room.
Alana Yaris, Cherry Hill. Congratulations, Dr. Morton. On to the other parts of my public comment. As I'm sure you're aware, Bronny James was rushed to the emergency room yesterday because he collapsed on the court during a practice of a sport that he participates in on a regular basis. He is a healthy portraying individual. There is a policy in the district, policy 5300, that was adopted on June 28th, 2016. It is now 2023. I urge you to take a look at that policy about AEDs in schools to make sure that is up to date, up to code. 8 years is a long time. A lot of technology has changed. I want to make sure that all of our students are safe at practices, during gym, health class, at any time, because someone can collapse at any time. Healthy portraying individuals. I come from a town that I was attending a basketball game, and one of my best friend's brother collapsed on the court and died later that night because there was no AED in the school. I'm proud that Cherry Hill has AEDs in all schools, but I want us to make sure that our students are safe at all times. In relation to this policy 5332, as I read it, it makes it sound like are parents aware that they need to initiate a DNR with the school district? It seems the district should be asking parents each year as a first move instead of the other way around. How parents feel about their children and whether a DNR is needed for any individual within the school district. Thank you.
Okay, and now we go online, and it's the phone number of 788.
Okay, I'm going back to the wording of the Citizens Advisory Committee Policy 9140. Going to paragraph 3, in which you.
I'm sorry, you've already spoken on that topic. If you'd like to speak on a different topic, please do so. Otherwise, we will move on to the next speaker.
You're interrupting me speaking.
Yes, we have a statement that we do not allow repetitive public comments. So
it's not, because what I'm actually doing is I'm talking about you're actually interrupting me. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually specifically talking about words in there that emphasize what you're doing. So you don't want me to read your words is what you're saying. That emphasize what you're doing is you are controlling conversation. Like part of the policy is right now you are controlling this conversation. All right. I was going to point out where when you read this, you've actually changed the wording to the point where you are controlling everything. Just like now you changed the wording to public comment, so you are controlling the conversation and have what I say.
Dr. Podowitz, this is not a conversation. This is public comment. We have a statement. We do not allow repetitive comments.
Right.
I'm going to ask you to move on to a different topic, and if you don't have a different topic, we can end.
You are refusing to let me speak. You are refusing to let me speak. That's what this is about.
You have a different topic, Dr. Podowitz.
All right, here's what the topic is. Anti-Semitism. You want me to talk about that in 2 minutes?
If it's specific to the school district, you may. If it is not specific to the school district. Yes, it relates to it because there was an article in the Cherry Hill East newspaper last year about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is alive and well. Bigotry is alive and well in Cherry Hill, and stopping individuals to talk is alive and well. Interrupting them when they talk is alive and well, and you're an example of it right now. You're an example of stopping me from speaking, and that has to do with the district what you're doing, and that's your policy, and the way you controlled it. And I was trying to make that point. So I will tell you, you should resign for stopping me. Your board lawyer should resign right now. Because what happened to me when I was interrupted right now is wrong. It shows the control that you are trying to get by interrupting people from talking. That's what it does. And you can bully people this way. And that's what's being done to me right now. And you could be anti-Semitic to people like me also, because that's what I viewed what happened when you interrupted me talking about anti-Semitism. Okay, thank you for your call. And your public comment. And we move on back to the room, Mr. Mills. This is the second public comment. This is the time. So if you could kindly state your name and your municipality.
Harvey Mills, Voorhees Township. Funny story, I was actually a student of Clara Barton Elementary School in 2003. My third grade school year. My brother was a student here in 2003 as well. And my older brother was a student at Cherry Hill West the same year. So it's pretty interesting being back after such a long time. As you probably can reference the email sent around like 3 p.m. I inquired if you guys had an social emotional learning curriculum for your schools. I'm here to say that if you don't have one, I developed one. I was a teacher at Camden High School for 3 years. I'm currently a counselor at Rutgers University. And I'm noticing that while our students are very intelligent, their self-advocacy, imposter syndrome, those things are alive and well at the collegiate level. And I developed a curriculum based on the student development theory of higher ed, which have overlaps with the Castle 5 competencies. And though my curriculum is based on 4 modules, each module representing a marking period. So module 1 is who am I? The belief systems that you were either, that you embody, that were instilled into you. And the culminating project of marking period 1 is the who am I presentation. So if I were to tell you my name is Harvey, it means battle worthy in English. My middle name is Darwin, it means they're a friend of English. And my last name is Mills, which means lived by or worked in the Mills English. Now, and understanding where my name come from, my dad, he took over the cab company of his father, who was named Harvey. So the first module or marking period 1, just based on who am I. Module 2, interpersonal engagement. Students are tasked to present a room and board project, as I call it. So Ms. Stern and Mr. Mayor, you're 20-year-old college students. How are you gonna live? How are you gonna feed yourself? How do you compromise your lifestyle? You may be a night owl, you may be an early bird. How do you compromise that? So that's module 2. Module 3, career and social advocacy. So Dr. Morton, superintendent, how do you plan to fulfill any social action based on, your career? Module 4, parenting project. So in no way am I advocating that students, make children at this time, but these are things that they should keep in mind. The belief systems that were built into you, compassion, love for others, education, are you going to instill them into your children? So while my curriculum is based on social and emotional learning, it also embodies career training. So Ms. Stern, Mr. Mayor, and Dr. Morton, I sent you guys emails some time ago. So I don't know if you can add this to the next what I'm looking for, next board meeting, but I just wanted to come and introduce myself and tell you what I plan to do. So thank you.
Okay. All right. And we go on to the line and Rick Short.
Hi, Rick Short, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. First off, congratulations, Dr. Morton. I wish you the best and hope we have continued dialogue. Next up is Mr. Podowitz was making some comments, and yes, he was sort of interrupted. Maybe he had more to say because when he spoke on his first public comment, maybe he had some more to say after that. And the third thing, final thing, again, is we're about a month away or so from bus safety, or the start of the year in bus safety. And I hope Dr. Morton takes some immediate actions to make things safer. Simple thing. All we need to do to stop what's called bus starting. Bus starting is when students run between 2 cars. It can be seen happening at Claire Barton. It can be seen happening all the time at Cherry Hill East. All that needs to happen is the buses need to pull bumper to bumper so kids can't run in between them. This is what happens in Lower Marion. If you go to Lower Marion, you watch their buses, they're all pulled up one-on-one. So we can avoid what's called a bus starting accident. The second thing, that's at no cost. The second thing we can do is provide simple chains, simple mobile barriers that have chains. Somewhere that you could put it is Rosa. Another place you could put it at is Beck. And another place you could put it at is Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine probably needs a traffic light. I mentioned that last time. But Thomas Paine has a lot of kids and a lot of cars interacting. It's not safe. You have to corral students. You have to direct them certain ways. And these poor teachers at Beck and Rosa, it's crazy to watch it on video. So I really hope Dr. Morton this year comes up with some basic stuff that's not going to cost over $1,000 for 19 schools. And it's going to ensure that we're actually doing bus safety. I just don't want to see another kid get hit. Thank you.
Okay, we go back to the room.
Yoni Yaris, still Cherry Hill. For those board members looking for something to do and get to see students in the buildings, this Thursday, the summer music program is doing their annual concert. And then also I highly recommend going over to East and checking out the summer enrichment program that is going really well. My son has participated. This is week 2 of it, and it's been an incredible experience for him. It's also great that it's mixture of 6th through 12th graders, so our upperclassmen get a chance to mentor younger students. That isn't usually an opportunity they have outside of the typical age group in high school. And it's just been a really great experience to see kids coming out of East really smiling. And it's really fun in the summer to get to see students in the building. Also did not mention before, because I forgot about it, the funding for CTE is really great. It's something that I am incredibly passionate about. In regards to Dr. Podowitz's comment, I want to just talk about what happened after the newspaper published that article. Dr. Perry stepped up like I've never seen a principal do in my experience, and tackled that head on and created a 4-part series tackling the cultural challenges that were raised by the students. He could have easily prevented that from being published with prior review. But he chose not to. He chose to let those stories be published, let Eastside do what it's done for years and what Mr. Gagliardi has created a culture there. And they've tackled it head on. If you go into East now, it is not the same school it was in 2021. No, things fixed. Fully no, but the process has been started. And with Dr. Perry, what he's done with his entire team up and down, has worked to address those challenges, have created pathways, has used the student advocate, has used the SAC, has used the full avenue of support in that building to tackle those approaches. So I really encourage you to sit down if you had a chance to find out what he did. It's something I'd like to see replicated across the district, to how you tackle and utilize student voice to approach problems, bring your staff together and the students together, and really say, we're going to stop learning for 4 days during the large schedule, and we're going to tackle this because this is really important learning that needs to happen in our schools. I'm excited Dr. Morton's a proponent of this, and I think we'll see more of it under his leadership. And I hope the board will have a chance to take a look at it and get a chance to bring Dr. Perry in to present about it, because it's really important for our community to hear about how you tackle systemic challenges that our students bring up. Thank you.
Okay, and we go to the line and we have Ann Einhorn.
Ann Einhorn.
Ms. Einhorn, you're still muted. You could unmute yourself, please.
I did. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mrs. Sugars, could you please restart the clock?
Ann Einhorn, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Congratulations, Dr. Morton. It's quite a ride to get you there, but I'm glad you're there. I take exception, Ms. Stern, with your treatment of Dr. Podowitz. You did announce on any subject second public comment. And I don't believe that the 3 minutes during the agenda comments allows people enough time to say what they might like to say according to your agenda. But the second public comment is exactly that, second public comment. It's another 3 minutes, and you're already running way ahead of schedule, considering the norm for board meetings in this district. I think you need to find a way, perhaps consult with Mr. Green. It really did sound like you tried to shut him down totally. That's never acceptable in today's society. So perhaps you need to find another way to rephrase what you're trying to achieve, which I'm not quite sure what that was this evening with your treatment of Dr. Pods. But I would suggest you consult with Mr. Green and your fellow board members, because 3 minutes is all we have, 3 minutes. So that's not a lot of time. Thank you.
Okay, we go back to the room. Looks like we don't have any people at the room to speak, and I don't see any hands online, so I will close public comment. And it looks like we are at the end of our meeting. I just want to check real quick with Dr. Morton. Typically, this is an opportunity for superintendent comments. I'm not sure that you would have any, but you did make some earlier in the meeting, but in case you did, I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that.
Yeah, I do just have a couple of comments. I'd just like to formally say thank you very much to the board for your patience and for your support and belief in myself. I'm honored to serve this district in a different role. I came to the district 15 years ago, not knowing exactly what to expect, but what I found was a community that I absolutely have fallen in love with, a community that respects, appreciates, and values diversity, and a community also that values inclusivity. It's very important for us. It's obviously important for an individual such as myself. Everyone has a different voice. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has different experiences, but we all come together, and that's what makes the community special. The ability to come together, and the central focus and thing that this community comes together more often than not about are our children. So to have the opportunity to to be in this seat and to influence what happens with our children across the town is truly outstanding. So I'm not sure if you're all aware, but tomorrow marks the 33rd anniversary of ADA, the American Disabilities Act. And this law was a law that was passed in 1990 to prevent discrimination against people with disabilities. Very, very important, really important for my family in particular. I have several people in my family who are disabled, and actually an aunt and an uncle. Prior to the passing of this law, there really was no place for them. There's no place for them within, one of my uncles, as a matter of fact, within school, and cast a tremendous burden on my grandmother as she had to care for him into his adult years. The passage of that law actually mandated that there would be services available to be able to take care of Uncle Freeman. So truly tremendous and meaningful for my family. I think something that aligns with what we believe here in town is just something I wanted to mention. Again, thank you to our glue person over at the district office. I told Ms. Weatherington that she's the glue over at the district office before, and she looked at me, she said, "What are you talking about?" The glue holds it all together, and she's that person that holds it all together. So thank you again, Ms. Weatherington. Thank you all, and that's all I have.
Well, that was an exciting start to your first comment, superintendent's comment. So again, very, very excited to be serving with you as on the board. So looking forward to all the work we're going to do together, starting 7:30 on Thursday morning. I'll see you there. Okay. So I think that's it. Going to make a motion to adjourn. I mean, unless we want to keep going. Okay. I have a second. Mrs. Fleischer has a hand. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.